Hello, and today I feel like doing something a bit retro. Let's dig in deep into our childhood nostalgia and into the PlayStation camp. I feel like doing a PlayStation era type of human face. So let's begin. I'm going to keep our friend, the default cube this time. I'm not going to delete him. Instead, I'm going to get rid of this light and this camera. Well, we right click onto, actually, again, as always, let me turn on screencast keys. So you can see what I'm doing down here as I moved it. Alright, so once that is on, so you can see that, I'm going to go into the modifier properties, which is the wrench on your right bar here, add modifier, and we're going to add a subdivision surface. That's looking pretty cool. What else are we going to do? Well, we're going to tab in, Control R, which will create a cut to. Click on this, and just like right click, so just deselects but enables the cut right down the center. So to recap, let's get this back here. Control R adds a cut or an edge loop, and we click, and now when we click on it we can move around, but we want a dead center, so all I have to do is just right click instead of left click, and that should default right in the center. Okay, so next we're just going to select one edge or one face excuse me, and we're just going to delete that, and we're just going to delete that. Sorry, don't know what that error was down there. And we're going to do delete faces. So now we just have half a face. We're going to add another modifier, and we're going to do mirror. And what are we going to mirror? We're going to mirror. Let's look up here, the y-axis. And then we're going to merge. We can do some clipping. So why did I do that? Well, now all I have to do is just do one side, and it translates over to the next. Half the work, double the payoff. All right. So we've set our little base here. What I also like to do is just duplicate this, put this to the side in case I want to create more heads or different shapes here. And we can just hide this. But you can see up here on your hierarchy window that it's hidden. It's still here. While we're here, we might as well call this something head, and we can call this head start. Oops. Yeah, head start. And to clean this up a little bit more, new collection, head. So it's nice and clean. Alright, so let's begin here. Well, since we already have the viewport here and the mirror modifier, let's minimize this. We can tab in into object mode. Sorry, we're in object mode. When we tab in, we're going to edit mode. So once we're in edit mode, we're going to have a face like here. Just click A, so that's not selected. I don't know why that keeps deselecting. And then let's just start pulling shapes around. I'm just gonna look around here to see what else I could add. I do like the lack of detail here. We're gonna do something very basic. So I'm gonna create a cut going down halfway through here. And I'm just gonna create a loop that way with Control R, G to move, and you can see red here. Red is X, GX, and just move this up. This is going to be the jaw. I'm going to hit Control Tab and switch to the edge mode. Click on this one edge and kind of like bring the jaw down and forward. The way I'm doing that is I'm locking it to an axis. G to move, and then X will lock it to the X axis, Y to the Y axis, and Z to the Z axis. So we're going to try and get a bit of the jaw shape here. Let's move this up a bit slightly. Let's move this up a bit more on this Z axis. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I kind of want to make this a bit smaller, like bring this down and bring this a little bit in. I'm going to switch actually to the vertex mode. Click on the outside vertex here. G, and look at the green line. Green line is Y. Green line is Y. G, Y, and just bring this in. So we're going to like, if you look at the orthographic view here, just like bring it in slightly. We can bring it in really close or really far. It's fine depending on what kind of character you want to make. I'm going to click on the top here I'm just gonna move this up slightly. Actually, I'm just gonna click all of these and move this slightly up like this. Move this up a little bit more. Now, why are we doing it with the subdivision? Well, I like working with very few polys because let's say I'll just duplicate this so you can see what I mean. And let's just add the apply to the subdivision. Now you can see it's kind of getting a little messy if I have to move all of these around. There are ways, and I will show you those ways, but we want to think in terms of less to more rather than more to less, if that makes sense. I just made that up right now. All right, so let's just delete that. But yeah, you can see like if I want to move this point here, it's going to be hard. I mean, we can do the whole selection of O and move it around, but still, it's more effort to do it this way. All right, let's go back here and take a look. All right, what else can we add here? Well, we could bring the neck down. And how can we do that? Well, we can select the face, and it looks like, actually, I kind of want to cut going through here. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, we've added a significant amount of polys this way. And let's see what happens if we move the edge slightly back to round up the skull a bit more. So you notice there's like a large circle around here. That's kind of like the area of where the other points are going to be moved. And you can see up here that this icon's selected. Now what this means, let me just create an example here to show you. So normally, let's say you have all these vertexes. I select one, like the top here, and I move it up. It's only moving that single one. However, if I click on this, the shortcut is O, and you can see there's a radius around it. I can change it using the scroll wheel up and down. You can see when I move it up, scroll wheel going up, you can see it's selecting a larger area. And that's one way you can start sculpting it a bit more. And if I scroll all the way down, it's just a single point. But there are also different algorithms here of how the fall off, essentially, how it picks up these other vertex points or faces or edges. Just to show you an example, if I hit random and move this up, you can see it's just picking points at random. This could be helpful for some effects. Let's delete that. Go back here now. Let's move this a bit more. I still have the thing selected, but that's okay. Move this a bit down. And you know what? I think this is workable. I like this. We can use this. Move it back there. Okay. Like always, Shift D. And I'm going to move this onto our collection with our head start. Hit H to hide it, just as a backup. Okay. I think I'm ready to commit this. Alright, so we're going to go to our subdivision, hit apply, and now we've applied all of this. I do want to have a bit of a head or a neck sticking down, so I'm going to switch to face mode with Control Tab and select some areas here. Let's see. Let's say I want, yes, this. I forgot I have the mirror modifier on, so I keep clicking here. Alright, so E, extrude, take this out, and let's actually go smooth. And so right now, with global, if I do GZ, it's going to go, GZ, it's going to go straight down. But what happens if I want to do it at an angle, the way the face itself is angled at? Well, I can go up here where it says global, hit normal, and I'll do GZ. You can see that the line is diagonally, as opposed to, if I go back to global, GZ, it's going straight down. And now this means it's just wherever the face itself is facing. So you can look here, modify this a little bit more. I'm scaling it in with S, SY, scale it a bit back. Kind of like, I think this would be a good start here. Turn on this area of effect. What is it actually called? Proportional editing. Alright, so we can move this around, go back to global, and let's just clean this up a little bit more. Maybe we can move this slightly down, and move this a bit more around this way. This person's got quite a thick neck, but that's fine. Okay, let's move this jaw a bit up. kind of want to move this, drop it down. Excellent. What else can we do? Well, I'm going to go to the front view, which is actually on the other side. Well, that's okay. Let's go to the right side here then. And let's choose, let's say this will be the ear. So we could either extrude it out with the E, and then I'm going to take proportional editing out, and then GY, and then rotate this on the Z axis. Now the ears might be a little bit taller. Actually, it is really quite tall. But again, we're going to do that little stylized thing here. And then let's just have maybe the nose be here. I'm going to add a cut tool to create like the bottom of the nose. So I'm going to navigate to that knife tool, which is K. Click here, and then click in the center. Just maybe here, space bar. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, let's see. Do I want this reverse? Yes, I'll do this. And I did not actually need this here. So we can go to Edge, delete this, and dissolve edges. Now, will that create a vertex randomly here? No, it doesn't. Excellent. I was just thinking ahead here. So we're going to bring this out this way. And then we could actually merge these back in to the face. So when we merge things, is select these two. Alt M. Or is it Control M? Yeah. So it's just M. All these controls are a bit different. Alright, M to merge. And now we can either click this, shift, click the last one, M, and we're going to say we want to merge at the last. Same thing with this one, at last. And then here we can start like moving the vertex points around just to create more of an interesting shape. Let's go back here, take a look. We can move this slightly down, and we can change the shape a bit more here. Let's get a very stylized fellow here. Move this inwards. Alright. I think this would be good enough to add a texture on. We can also check out the shader view, shade smooth, just to see what's happening here. Pretty funny. And we can like do some more fine editing here. If I select this, and let's go to medium element. Oh, I think I hit something random here. Yeah, maybe scale that head a bit there. Be more stylized that way. Alright. So I've added a texture image. Let's see here. We'll go to our new material, our material tabs here. So I've already dragged the window out. If you don't know how to do that, scroll to the top until you see a crosshair, click and drag, and then we're going to do shader editor. Right now, it's just a base color, which we can't see because we have to go to the viewport shading, and now we can see it. So I have Node Wrangler enabled. In previous tutorials I mentioned how to get it, so we'll just do that again here. Edit, preferences, and enable add-ons. Just type in Node, and we can see Node Wrangler. That just makes using shaders a lot faster. Or, sorry, using the nodes a lot faster here. There's some hotkeys that are pretty nice. One of them being Control-T, which automatically adds all the nodes that are needed for an image texture. And let me drag this out here. And you can see it's hooked up to UV, image texture, color texture. We have no images right now. So I'm going to open it up and navigate towards an image of a face I drew. Self-portrait actually. And here we are. Absolutely nightmarish. I am afraid. That's alright, we can play around with the UV. So I dragged another window out, crosshair, drag down, and we go into the UV editor, and we see nothing here. Well, that's because we have to click on to our image texture. And why is it acting a little weird? Well, if we go in here, you can see what's happening. It's kind of hard to navigate this way, so we're going to use a little bit of UV texturing. It's going to be kind of bashy, so if you know how to UV texture, go ahead and UV texture this. But for those who are unfamiliar, this is one way of doing it. It's not the best way, but it gets results. So we're gonna navigate to the front. In this case, this is the right orthographic because that's the way I've modeled this. But to the front of the face, orthographic, you can access that by hitting the numpad 5 key. I'm gonna select everything. UV, project from view. And now it's projected everything here, even through like the neck and the back of the head. We can clean all of that out later. The great thing is that it is mirrored, so like you can see here what's happening when it's mirrored. So now I can start like scaling things up, trying to get this like lined up more or less where I want it to be. And then you can also go into your UVs here and let's see, select the face here. Oh, we have to sync it up. Alright, so to sync it up, it's an icon up here called UV sync selection. So when I select something here, let's say face here, it'll show that this is the area here. And I can start scaling it and moving it around, trying to get basically where I want things to line up. Let's say like the nose here is kind of acting a little funky. And that's because it's stretching all these textures out. So I can like, you know, be extremely lazy, or I can go, what's the Control 7? Sure. UV, project from view, and now that's the nostril here. And let me just try and get the nostrils there. Whoop. And then we can click on this, and we can like have it like that, and just basically try to align everything as cleanly as possible. So I'm just gonna do that here. And since this is like fairly abstract character, we can get some like just like illusions of detail. Again, if anyone saw this model and saw this texture, it would be horrifying. Alright, so I give my character, that's frightening. Oh yes, let's just pick a random spot up here. This is horrifying. Alright, let's bring this up here. It's stretched here, but I don't think it matters too much. Again, you're the artist of your own piece, so you get to decide that. I'm just going to do something very quick, just for demonstration purposes again. This is kind of neat the way this is stretching out. Alright, so let's say I have this lovely character here. Let's see if I can actually clean this up a bit. We can select these two, drag it down, and there we go. Alright. So, what I'm going to do now is lower the specularity, because I'm very shiny. So let's do that. And now I'm going to I actually feel like showing you how to add blend shapes so we can start animating this character. With blend shapes, you can actually take it into a game engine and use those values for procedural animation, or you can automate it with something else. Basically whatever you want to use the data for, and I'll just show you how you can do that. But first we need to do some changes with our UV, our topology here. We need some extra cuts where we can close the eye, and some extra cuts here we can open and close the mouth. So I'm going to use our knife tool with K, and actually no, because the thing is I like things to be kept as quads or tries. An n-gon is something that's more than 4 sides, and it's very hard for game engines to register that. So instead of just doing that, see, I'm like caught in here. Let's see if I could probably do a quad here. So let's do that instead. I'm talking out loud now, but we can do a quad here, like this. Spacebar, you can see it's created this. So I'm going to create a triangle now, like that. So that's a quad here, and this is a triangle. I'm going to create a triangle here. Whoever is good at topology, forgive me. I'm sorry, this is horrifying. Alright, let's do this here. Space that out. Here, space. Hello, friend, please. Is something? Oh, yes, underneath there. Okay. Oh. Oh, if you accidentally click something you don't want there to be a cut, just right click. All right, so I'm gonna click here, click down here, space bar, click here, space bar. All right, so we have our eyeball here. Is everything quads or tris? That is correct. Okay, cool. So essentially it's gonna be horrifying because I want my character to blink like that. We're gonna navigate. Actually, let's just hide all of this because we don't really need this anymore. Join area, join area. I'll drag this out a bit more so it's easier to see. We're gonna navigate towards the one that looks like it's a triangle with verts on it. You'll see a tab here called shape keys, and what we're gonna do is just add our first shape key, the basis, which is the default thing we see here. All right, we're gonna add another shape key, and let's name this blink. And you can see the value 0 to 1, and we're gonna have this selected. Make sure that when you're gonna tab into it, to have the blink enabled, to click on blink, or click on the shape key, tap into it, and now we're inside the the blink shape key. We're gonna select the eyeball. I'm gonna click and go to vert mode, and let's just drag this down. And with our eyeballs, we kind of like just lower our top eyelid here, and let's do a little bit of that. Let's just bring this all the way down. It kind of looks like a Deus Ex. I actually love animations like this. Alright, so now we have blink enabled. So now you can see when you move this value, we have our character blinking. We can do the same with the mouth now, where we need to create a new shape key, call this mouth, tab into it, and actually we don't need to do that. My bad, because we don't have any cuts to deal with. We need to do that first. So we're going to go back to basis, tap into it, and now we're going to create our cuts. And I'm going to think of how I'm going to do this. So I would want there be a cut like this. Go back up here, make this into a triangle, this into a triangle, and we have 4 here. And then I am going to completely butcher this because I'm still trying to figure out what I want with this. I want this to go straight down this way. 1, 2. If I do this, that's a quad. This is horrifying. Actually, you know what? Let's delete these edges here. Learning experience. I'm still learning. Dissolve edges. Alright. So this is a quad here. What we can end up doing is putting this straight like this. So now we have all of this thing here. But we need to figure out how to put this point here. So there's 3 here. We can do a triangle. Yes, like this. And then we can cut this like that. That should give us 4, 3, yes. But we kind of need this to open up a little bit more here. So I'm going to have to figure out, how do I open this mouth? Like this. Yes. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to go in here and drag it in. I'm extruding inside the mouth. So we have this horrifying little mouth hole. And now, when we go into mouth, I have to delete the shape key actually. Yes. Okay. Create a new shape key. Call this mouth. Because it's almost like taking a snapshot. And now, we can have the fun where we can make the mouth open up. So we can go here. I kind of want to make the jaw move down slightly too. So we're going to enable our thing here. our proportional editing and try and just get the mouth to... Oh, I have a stray vert there. Open up. Oh, I kind of like to make mouth noises too. Alright, and then let's... So now, let's see what happens. We can probably... Actually, I kind of want to reset that. I'm not happy with that. Let's do this again. Let's move this down here. And let's try this one more time. There we go. There we go. Getting like gold SRC Half-Life 1 days. Ah, beautiful. So now, excellent. Man. So now we have our blink. Ooh, what is happening here? Oh, it's because I added new verts. That's my bad. So this is also a good learning experience too. It's like, make sure to have every topology you need, all the cuts in before adding the shape keys. Let's add our blink in. That's not too bad. But imagine if that was like with all these subdivisions, like a lot more like proper AAA subdivisions. That could be quite painful to deal with. And I'm sure it's happened before. Sometimes you forget. Alright, let's just squish this in here. Good night. So now, there we go. And then with the mouth. Oh, la 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 la. Perfect. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. You can key these just to have some fun. Let's do that quickly before ending this tutorial here. And let's go into the graph editor, which is here, animation, graph editor, mouth, and the blink. So I'm going to I for keyframe, keys up here, value of blink, and then we're going to do the mouth as well, I, value of mouth. I'm hit N to bring up the tab, and we'll go to modifiers, and let's start with blink. Let's try blinking at set intervals or random. Let's do random intervals. So this is going to look really funny. You can see it's twitching, and it's going from 0 to whatever the point is here. So what we need to do is hit add, and then we can scale this up so it's not as drastic. It's going from 0.5 to 1, but we want it from 0 to 1. So we can increase the strength, and then we could oh, actually, there's something here. Is it replace? There's like a number here that you could add. Forgive me, this is wanted. Yeah. There we go, that's what we kind of want. Basically the values of 0, it's only a hard clamp from 0 to 1. So we can have that. You can play around with the amount of times this person blinks. You can blink really fast or a bit slower. This is for more natural movements. We can do the same thing with the mouth now. Add, and we'll do noise, and we can do something crazy like 5, increase the strength a little bit more. And now we have a talking character. Add in a light just to give that extra oomph. Put a bit of sunlight. There it is. Did I actually do something odd? It seems like I locked something in here. Oh, there we go. Somehow I toggled effect on location. Adding strong light that way, 5. And then we could also go in and give him some more stylized edges by going into normals, auto smooth, keeping it at 30. Oh. There you go. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah.